some things in Harry Potter are really, really disturbing when you sit down and you actually think about them. And some of those awful things are treated as though they're perfectly normal. Like, Harry Potter is set in this huge, magical, fantastical world with all the potential for so many fun, whimsical things. You know, magical sports, magical creatures. So many of the moments are amazing to read and watch. But there's a dark side. And some of the darkest things in the Harry Potter universe are just treated as normal by the characters. In fact, some of them are played for comedy, despite being deeply disturbing. And so as readers or viewers, we tend to just go with it and act like these things are normal or funny too. But some of these things are life-ruining. Some of them should definitely be a crime, and some of them I think we need to recognize as really not okay to act like it's normal, especially in a book series often aimed at children. So let's jump into the most disturbing details in the Harry Potter books. So the Harry Potter books almost have us laughing at the fact that people are having their memories erased from their brains. Like, it's so often played for laughs, as we see in the Quidditch World Cup, right? The Muggle site manager, Mr. Roberts, is having these funny exchanges with Mr. Weasley about how he doesn't understand Muggle money, about how all these odd people are staying at his campsite and they're all acting weird. And Mr. Weasley, still as lighthearted as the rest of the scene, uses Obliviate on him. And he says that Mr. Roberts needed 10 memory charms per day. 10 times per day, this man's memories are just being wiped. And it's lighthearted, and it's funny, and we're supposed to giggle along. And then we have Gilderoy Lockhart, also very often a comic relief character. But his whole story is rooted in memory charms, even including the trio's interactions with him in St. Mungo's in the Order of the Phoenix. You know, he signs autographs and he talks about still being famous, and again, it's played for laughs, but if you really stop and think about it, the loss of memory is so dark. Wizards wiping a Muggle's mind just because of the issues with using his campsite for Quidditch 10 times per day? Like, what will he even remember from that day when he goes home to his family? Like, imagine finding out you've been at work and 10 different times your memory was erased. Our memories and our experiences make up who we are. And the idea that people can just take them willy-nilly, casually, take them away, the things that might make you change or grow as a person, it's horrifying. If you ask me, it should be unforgivable, right? The fact that Lockhart was able to modify the memories of multiple people such that he could take credit for what was likely their greatest achievements in life. Like, think of your greatest achievement right now, the moment you felt most proud or accomplished. Chances are it's a big moment, right? And so it's something you like to think back on, something that shaped part of who you are today. Now, imagine just not having that memory. It's just gone. It's horrible, honestly. Memory charms should be an unforgivable curse. And Gilderoy Lockhart, for doing that so many times, should be seen as like a top 5 villain from Harry Potter. I think erasing memories should land you a lifetime in Azkaban, like any of the other unforgivable curses. While we're on the topic of really creepy, invasive things from the wizarding world, the Trace is absolutely awful. So obviously, we live in a society, particularly now in the age of the internet, where privacy and data are a big topic, right? Your privacy is being eroded, your data is being collected. What is it they say? If the product is free, then you are the product. YouTube, Google, Facebook, they are free because your data is being collected and sold, and that's more valuable than charging you to use their service. And you know, people are, rightly so, pretty defensive about their data being collected and sold. It's why Europe introduced GDPR legislation. It's why the Cambridge Analytica scandal was such a big deal. So now, people are entitled to keep hold of their data. They are entitled to a degree of privacy. So in the wizarding world, what if I told you that every underage wizard and witch has a trace on them from birth? So they are born, they don't opt in, they are just being traced by the Ministry of Magic. Mad-Eye Moody describes it to Harry in the Deathly Hallows as a charm that detects magical activity around under 17s. It's the way the Ministry finds out about underage magic. If you or anybody around you casts a spell to get you out of there, Thickness is going to know about it, and so will the Death Eaters. So the Trace tracks the location of a person underage without their consent, and by extension, tracks the people around them and any magic that any of them do. And how intense is that tracking? Well, it's almost certainly what's used to send Hogwarts letters to 10, 11-year-olds who can do magic, right? And the Hogwarts letters that Harry gets, they know when he's in the cupboard under the stairs. They know when he's moved to Dudley's second bedroom. They know that they were in room 17 at the hotel that Uncle Vernon tried to hide them in. And then they knew that Harry was sleeping specifically on the floor of the hut in the middle of the sea. It knows these things and it knows them in real time. So the Trace is pretty invasive if it can track your every move. I imagine it's as intricate as the Marauder's map, right? Which, by the way, nobody consented to being tracked on either. So the trace is intensely invasive, and what's more is that McGonagall, who writes those letters, doesn't work for the Ministry, which means that presumably the Ministry is sharing the data it collects from the trace with third parties, again without anybody's consent. So to recap, the trace tracks children without their consent from birth. They don't opt in. It tracks their exact specific location, any magic that they do, the people they're in contact with, and the magic that those people do, and then it shares that information with third parties, all without the person's consent. Like, there has got to be so many data protection violations going on there. And while we're on the subject, I want to talk to you about something that's become really important to me: protecting my privacy online. And that's where today's sponsor, Private Internet Access, comes in. Browsing the internet without protection is like sending a private message to a group chat. Everyone can see what you're doing, but a VPN creates an encrypted tunnel for your data, hiding your IP address and keeping your information private. Let me show you how easy this is to use. So I just open the app, choose a server location, and connect. As you can see, it's now hiding my real location and encrypting my connection. I genuinely use PIA daily, especially when it comes to working from coffee shops or traveling. But honestly, one of my favorite features is being able to access different streaming libraries from all around the world. PIA works with all major streaming services, and you can choose from 91 different countries and all 50 US states. What's brilliant is that one subscription protects unlimited devices. Your phone, your laptop, your tablet, everything. Your entire household can be protected with just one account. Private Internet Access is the world's most transparent VPN with over 30 million downloads. They have a proven no-logs policy that's been tested in court and audited by Deloitte. Plus, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's completely risk-free. Right now, you can get 83% off Private Internet Access, which comes out to just $2.03 a month. Plus, you get an extra 4 months completely free. Just use my link in the description, piavpn.com/Brett's Thoughts. Trust me, if you value your privacy online, you'll want to check this out. So another really gross thing that is played off as funny in Harry Potter is love potions. And when you think about love potions, I imagine there are two main moments in the Harry Potter stories that you think about. One is the Romilda Vane and Ron Weasley moment, where Ron thinks he's in love with Romilda despite having never met her before. All because she tried tricking Harry with a secret love potion. It's a funny scene, right? Ron is like a lost puppy. He and Harry have a funny conversation about how he's in love with a girl he's never met. And I mean, it ends with Ron almost dying, granted, but mostly the scene is full of jokes, where we laugh at Ron for being a wet blanket. The other instance you might be thinking of when it comes to love potions is Merope Gaunt, Voldemort's mother, who spikes a muggle boy who she's been obsessed with for years. She tricks him into drinking a love potion and keeps him enchanted for a long time. And during the time that he's enchanted, they run away together. He leaves his loving girlfriend, moves away from his family, and starts a life with Merope, a girl that he largely found to be weird, and that's putting it politely. And then Merope gets pregnant, and there's no way what happened to create that baby was consensual. Tom Riddle was under the enchantments of a love potion. There is a word for that, which YouTube won't want me to say, but chances are, you know what I'm getting at. Like, these are the two main moments in the books where love potion is shown in any real depth. One is completely lighthearted and almost makes love potions out to be as harmless as any other joke shop products. And the other shows how it can be weaponized to commit the most atrocious of crimes. And the fact is, these love potions are sold to children. Weasley's Wizard Wheezes sells them to Hogwarts students. They brag about how popular and how great they are. Now, apparently love potions are banned at Hogwarts, as we find out in the Goblet of Fire, but Lockhart very nonchalantly suggests at Valentine's Day 2 years earlier that Snape might whip up one for some students if they just ask. Snape pulls a face like he wants to kill Lockhart, and obviously Lockhart is an idiot, so they might be banned. But let's face it, it's not like people struggle to smuggle things into Hogwarts. And if Fred and George brag about selling them to literal children, just imagine things that dark in the hands of children. Hormonal, intense children. Children whose brains haven't fully developed. Children like Draco Malfoy who use slurs left, right and centre and genuinely hope for Muggleborns to die at just 12 years old. These potions essentially remove the consent part of romantic interactions. It enchants people into thinking they have feelings for you. So maybe they'd let you copy their homework. Maybe they'd throw a Quidditch match for you. Maybe they'd cheat on their partner with you. Maybe they'd do what Merope Gaunt did. And yet, in the books, they are often played for laughs. Just like the memory charms, they are terrifying, they ought to be illegal, and I think using one on anybody should land you in Azkaban. So before we move on to another disturbing detail, I want to quickly thank Elvind, Jessica, Curtis, Jordan, and Misty for all of your support on Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting me and helping me make the best content that I can. If you want to support me on Patreon, there is a link down in the description. So Polyjuice Potion isn't quite as readily available as love potions seem to be. But I feel like people don't often talk about how terrifying a potion like Polyjuice Potion is. Like, imagine a potion which Hermione is able to brew age 12. Like, I know she's brilliant, but she's not exactly experienced brewing potions given her muggle upbringing. A potion a 12-year-old is able to brew can transform you into anybody you want to. Like, I have had my identity stolen, and let me tell you, it is bloody terrifying. It almost cost me the mortgage on my house. Like, truly, I still have panic attacks thinking about it. And that's just because somebody put my address, date of birth, and a few other details into a few things on the internet, right? Imagine what they could do if they could transform into me completely. And think about how awful deepfake technology is, right? The disgusting things people can do with it now. Now imagine somebody is able to look like you, completely like you, and they could manipulate your friends, your family, your partner, or your kids by pretending to be you. They could do anything with your physical form. Walk out through the street naked. Kiss a random old man so your partner thinks you're cheating on them. Commit a crime so that all the witnesses thought it was you. The potion isn't even that rare. Harry, Ron, and Hermione use some in the Chamber of Secrets. Barty Crouch Jr. has a year's supply in the Goblet of Fire. Mad Eye gives 6 decoy Harry some in the Deathly Hallows, before Harry, Ron, and Hermione use it twice more to infiltrate Gringotts and the Ministry. That is 5 times in the 6 books since it was first introduced. Plus, in the Chamber of Secrets, we see that woman selling fingernails in Knockturn Alley, which is the book where Polyjuice Potion is first introduced. That is not a coincidence, right? There is no way people are buying random fingernails for anything other than black market Polyjuice Potion usage. So if there's a market for it, it's got to be a fairly common potion, right? And I just don't think people talk enough about how bloody creepy and terrifying that is. And how, once again, using a Polyjuice Potion should be illegal. Our final disturbing thing. In keeping with children being treated disgustingly, not only are they being traced without their consent, but they are then absolutely stereotyped and typecast from the age of 11 in a horrific sorting ceremony, which basically tells them, this is who you are at 11. And so we're categorizing you this way, and it will impact every aspect of your life. Your Hogwarts house determines who you spend most of your time with. So basically, who you'll be friends with. I imagine because of that, most relationships at Hogwarts are within the same house. Not all of them, but probably most, because that's who you spend the most time with. It impacts your friendships, your relationships, the ideas you're exposed to, the opportunities that you get. Imagine spending a bunch of time in your common room with the kid of the editor of The Daily Prophet, or the son or daughter of a famous Quidditch player. They say in life it's about who you know, and who you know is directly impacted by what house you're sorted into in the wizarding world. And it doesn't just stop when you graduate Hogwarts. People talk about their houses well into adulthood. We hear snatchers in the Deathly Hallows, grown adults talking about their favour for Slytherins. We hear the Marauders talking about Gryffindor, like they still wear it with a badge of honour. These things stick with you. So imagine you are the kid of a Death Eater, like Draco Malfoy is, right? You're sorted into Slytherin because you've been influenced by your dad to be prejudiced and rude and self-centered. Do you think being forced to spend most of your time around other kids in the exact same situation, with the same parents who have given them the same life view, is that going to help you grow out of those prejudices? To challenge those ideas and forge your own path? Or do you think that a kid sorted into Slytherin, whose friends are also kids of Death Eaters or blood purists, whose house prefects are people like Draco Malfoy, whose head of house is a former Death Eater, Severus Snape, and who are literally forced to sleep in the dungeons, is that going to encourage them to become better people? It feels to me like they're being told from 11 years old, this is the kind of person you are. So you're kind of stuck on this path. Honestly, the idea of telling an 11-year-old that they've done all the growth that they can do, and now they're being put into a box to define them for the rest of their life. It feels pretty gross. It's like every year there should be a resorting ceremony where students can opt in to being resorted. And if you like me talking about disturbing details in Harry Potter, you'll probably like watching this video, where I explore fan theories that are probably true based on clues from the books that a lot of people missed. So you might want to watch that one next.